Welcome back. You tuned in to Salam Media. The time is 9 minutes past 8, and I will be having shortly Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. There were calls and proposals for the recomposition of government departments, and they have once again resurfaced as Parliament is preparing to swear in new members on Friday. In his State of the Nation address back in 2023, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced plans to review and reconfigure the structure and size of government department and entities and programs for the next 3 years. A move that has, seen some departments being merged. Currently, there are 30 ministers and 36 deputy ministers, with the president expected to announce a new cabinet after his inauguration tomorrow. I think if there's one thing that's going to be at the top of a lot of people's minds and heads, it's just how the seventh administration is going to be looking like, and what is going to be composed of. And to chat to us briefly about that, we are going to be joined over the phone by political analyst Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Prof, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning and welcome to Salam Media.
Thank you very much for having me.
Really appreciate you giving us your time. And I think before we get into the cracks of today's topic, maybe because it is fitting, we can just look into the seventh administration. There's going to be the first sitting of Parliament tomorrow. We are not yet sure what's going to look like. There are rumors, there are little murmurs here and there about a government of national unity. Some are calling it a coalition, because if it's a government of national unity, then it means all of the political parties, 90% of them, need to be a part of it. A coalition that seems to be, coming very, very strongly forward is one that's, comprising of the ANC, the IFP, and the DA, who are going to be leading this new seventh administration. What can we make of that? Parliament is sitting tomorrow. Thoughts?
Well, the cat is out of the bag. I think the IFP has broken the news. That they have struck a deal behind closed themselves and the ANC and the DA. So we expect then, based on that narrative, a newly elected president. That is an interesting arrangement. If it will take off the ground at the policy level, but also in terms of intra-party political dynamics, especially within the context of the ANC, given the fact that there's a pushback. But I would say the beauty of that kind of an arrangement, on the one hand, that it will be embraced wholeheartedly by the market forces. Because then the DA will be seen to be a buffer in terms of disciplining the ANC, in terms of its radicalism. But on the other hand, I think there might be issues, because I don't agree with this notion that you can talk politics and not talk ideology. If I'm then answer this question: which government policy is not inspired by an ideology? All government policies are inspired by it. But what you can say maybe is that you can, compromise here and there. But ideologies are always at the heart of public policies. For instance, there's an issue that is at play in the Gaza Strip, the conflict that is underway there. The DA, let's be honest, they support Israel. The ANC supports Palestine. So how are you going to address that issue? The ANC believes in the reimagination of the world order. I think they believe in a bipolar or a multipolar, but they don't believe that there must be a hegemonic force that is dominant in the international system. But paradoxically, the DA believes that the US should be like a policeman. You know what I mean? So how are they going to address that? I don't know. But also on the domestic front, you were raising a very pertinent issue earlier on of collapsing some government department merging. That is going to be an interesting issue, because also that is an ideological matter. We're talking about fiscal discipline. We're talking about the reduction of government. The DA believe that no, you have to reduce government expenditure so we can settle the debt. They might be right in terms of budget deficit, that we spend more than what we have. But then the ANC believes that no, you need a huge bureaucracy. You see, the challenge with that argument is that if you have corruption, then the objective realization of a developmental state will not be achieved.
And listening to you, you're touching a lot on the issue of ideology. And the question that first pops into my mind when you mention ideology is the fact that why didn't the African National Congress lean more into what a coalition of some sort, or a government of national unity, as they call it, or would want to dress it, with parties that are more aligned with their own ideology. I mean, you have the EFF and the MK, which are breakaways of the African National Congress. Wouldn't that make more sense? Wouldn't it be easier for them to maneuver that, instead of a kind of chalk and cheese kind of collaboration between themselves and the Democratic Alliance?
No, I think they're making sense. But the challenge is that maybe we need to appreciate also complexity. I agree with you. The ideological proximity of the ANC is closer to that of the EFF and the controversies, maybe. There might be fights here and there. But there is ideological affinity between the ANC and the EFF in particular. After all, two political parties, they broke away from the ANC. You know? But the challenge that I can bet my bottom dollar, if the ANC and the EFF or Mkhonto we can join forces, there will be a backlash from the market forces. I think the ANC is concerned about that, the leadership of Ramaphosa. But also, obviously, it's an open secret. There were people who backed Ramaphosa to his ascendancy. I'm sure maybe, I don't think that it's only the political parties that have influenced this deal that the IFP is talking about. I'm sure business also did have a say, maybe through some people, that they are close to. So we need to appreciate.
Let me just quickly jump in there, Mr. Breakfast. You're saying that, how does it reflect on what a lot of South Africans consider a democracy, the will of the people? Are we going to the elections to please the markets, or to please the people that have voted? And why go to elections if at the end of the day we're going to make decisions and draw up policies that are going to impress the markets and business, instead of the people on the ground, who are going to be living the day-to-day lives of those drafted policies by government?
Yeah, you are raising a very important matter. Actually, I've been arguing that coalition arrangements, as they stand, they're not a byproduct of a democracy, because people don't vote for coalition arrangements. They vote for political parties. Political parties join forces without the knowledge of the people who voted them. And sometimes it's a betrayal of the mandate that they got, because I might have voted for this party, but I don't want my party to join forces with another party. You see, so I think because this arrangement of coalition politics is new, in my opinion. As you know, that coalition arrangements rose to prominence in the early 1900s, in 1924, between the National Party and the Labour Party, in 1933. Then the National Party was like the ANC during apartheid. It was hegemonic until the ANC rose to power in 1994, and then also at some point was dealt with a blow. So this is a new phenomenon. I think in the build-up to the negotiations and constituting government, the public or civil society must also participate in the composition of government, not only politicians or the political elite. I think that needs to be taken into account. I'm glad that the IFP, I was listening to the leader of the IFP elsewhere, you were saying that they have agreed there could be a framework to guide the arrangement, which is fine, because there has been a missing link between conflict management and coalition politics, because the political elite has a tendency to rush into forming these coalition arrangements without developing a conflict management mechanism.
Let's get back to cabinet right now. It's not a secret that our cabinet is very, very bloated. 30 ministers, 36 deputy ministers, some departments, not really viable as standalones. 2023, in the State of the Nation address, President Cyril Ramaphosa, came out with those plans to review and reconfigure the structure and size of government departments. This new administration, could we possibly, be seeing, that, plan to review and reconfigure the structure of cabinet, or is it going to be, same old? Because I think we've spoken lengths about just how bloated as South Africa's government cabinet has been for quite some time now.
The challenge that we have had is that state machinery in the past has been used as a center of accumulation to amass wealth. If, for instance, you are elected as the president of the ruling party, you come into power, you must settle the score. You must use the state machinery to dish out favors to your henchmen in exchange for support in order for you to hold on to power. That's why we've had, a bloated cabinet. You see? Because it was a platform to dish out favors to those who might have supported a particular leader, despite the fact that having a bloated cabinet not imply that as a government you'll be able to get the job done in terms of addressing issues of underdevelopment and so on.
I want us to go on a quick break, but then when we come back, I want us to look at how can we, reduce the size of cabinet, but still, not impact the efficiency and the effectiveness of government itself. Because even though it's big, you don't want to, trim it to a point where it becomes too stretched. So maybe we can, chat a bit on that after the break.
Contact Lenasia Livestock and Poultry for all your Sadaka, Akika and Qurbani requirements. We offer clean, hygienic abattoir style and refrigeration facilities. Sheep, goat and cows are available at competitive market-related prices, direct to the public. We slaughter, slice and distribute on your behalf. But that's not all. Introducing Meatmasters Halal Butchery, our sister company situated on our farm in Lenasia. Unbeatable prices on lamb, beef and chicken. Lenasia Livestock and Poultry. Livestock is our business. We are Sanha approved. Telephone 011 857 1774. Call now.
It's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
After the recent attacks on Gaza, many families have been displaced with their homes left destroyed. Through your donations, our teams are on the ground in Gaza, providing support and delivering necessary aid to families affected. The people of Gaza need your help. Give hope. Donate today to Penny Appeal South Africa. www.pennyappeal.org.za 031 1100 573.
We are here on the ground with many appeal organizations in Gaza.
Are you planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate event, or any special occasion? Kani's Catering Services got you covered. Our catering services are here to elevate your event to unforgettable heights. From tantalizing appetizers to mouth-watering main courses and desserts, our culinary creations are crafted with passion and precision to delight your guests' taste buds. Our spit braai is a talk of the town. Indulge in succulent, tender meats, slow roasted to perfection over an open flame. Kani's Catering Services chefs bring creativity and expertise to every dish they prepare, ensuring that each bite is a culinary masterpiece. We take care of your guests while you relax and enjoy every moment of your function. Whether it's plated meals to a simple buffet, we are on top of it all. Ready to start planning your perfect event? Get in touch with us today to discuss your catering needs and request a personalized quote. Let us Take your event to the next level with our exceptional catering services. Kanis Catering Services, situated at number 373 Jabundlovo Street, Pietermaritzburg. Call now 033 342 3511 or email us on info@kanis.co.za for Pietermaritzburg and surrounding areas only. Visit www.kanis.co.za.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media with myself, Salalo Makwidiri. The time is 25 minutes past 8. And before we are still chatting to Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. He's a political analyst. And we're discussing the issue of reconfiguration of government departments. We all know that tomorrow, the first sitting of Parliament and the swearing in of the president will be taking place in Parliament in Cape Town tomorrow. I'll be there. So keep a close eye to Salam Media, where I'll be giving you the latest from Parliament. But bloated cabinet is one of the topics that we're tackling with. Prof, thank you so much for sticking around. And before we went to the break, I wanted to chat about, what would an effective yet slim enough cabinet look like? Because as much as you want to trim cabinet, you also don't want to trim it to a point where it is too stretched and it can't do the work that it's supposed to be doing.
I think there needs to be equilibrium between the demand and supply side, in the sense that you need a team that will be able to respond to the societal challenges. But there must be an appreciation that there is no connection between a large government and getting the job done. We have seen that.
True.
I think the way out is just to make sure that at a bureaucratic level, at the level of administration, people, because politicians at the level of cabinet, those are people who, make policies. Of course, the policies are made by the legislative institution, but also they initiate that process of policy formulation. Now, at the level of implementation, that is at the level of bureaucracy, and we're talking about professionals, public officials, security officers, then people at that level must be appointed on merit. Even if we draw from international best practices, you go to China, yes, you can say there are no human rights, I understand that. You go to Malaysia, you go to Singapore, Japan. The reason I'm citing these countries, they are not like countries of the global north, but they have a good experience in reducing poverty. China, in particular, how did they do that? It's because of meritocracy, appointing people on merit. That is extremely, if we can do that, I can bet bottom dollar, I think we'll have a very effective and efficient government.
And I think one of the issues that we've been struggling a lot, particularly when it comes to the various to cabinet and the various departments, is the issue of political interference. I think if there's an area where the African National Congress has failed dismally is understanding and knowing that there's a separation of powers between party and government. The ANC, yes, it might make up government, but there needs to be a separation of power between the two. With this new 7th administration coming into the fore, and having other, different political parties who are going to be comprising of it, is this an issue that we can probably mitigate because the ANC doesn't enjoy that outright majority as it previously did?
The arrogance of power of the ANC to do as it pleases has caught up with them. Now they are going to have power sharing now. They are going to have a coalition arrangement. So gone are those days of one-party dominance whereby they bulldoze parliamentary processes and so on. I don't think that they will be able to do that. I don't think so. I think now the tables have turned. So, yeah. So I don't think that they are going to do, like for instance, we had findings of Pala by independent panel, but they were rejected, even though the president was found wanting.
No, definitely.
In a majority.
Yes, you can go ahead, Prof.
Yeah, so I'm saying that now it's a different kettle of fish. Things have changed.
And looking at some of the about 10 departments that former President Cyril Ramaphosa has merged, looking at agriculture, forestry and fisheries, and being merged with rural development and land reform, communications, telecommunications, postal services, then all of that comprising and making up communications and digital technologies. You have mineral resources and energy, which will also have been merged. What other departments, that you look at and feel like that there isn't really a need for this department to be a standalone when there's a bigger department that can swallow it up and it can still work as seamlessly as possible, and even as more optimally than it previously did?
Yeah, you have a department of small businesses. I think that department is important, but it is failing us. I mean, that department, it used to be under trade and industry.
True, yeah.
That department, yes. So it can be collapsed and go, because trade and industry, you must remember, it's responsible for, I think now it's economic development or something. That one of it used to be Ibrahim Patel. It is responsible for the implementation of BE, so it can be subsumed there. Then you are able to save a lot of money. I think that's the one that comes to mind, and I think the one on gender, it was collapsed. I think it's been clustered with another one. So I think that's the way to go. Yeah, that's to save money. But because also we have budget deficit.
True. And just finally, before I let you go, Prof, what are your predictions for this new cabinet composition, and the potential impact that it will have on South Africa's governance moving forward for the next 5 years? Tomorrow, this new picture that we'll be getting. What are your predictions on it? Is it something to celebrate, or is it something to take with a pinch of salt? Just looking at the political parties involved, and also the challenges that might come, with the difference in ideology between them.
Well, there's a first time for everything. This is a mandate that political parties have been given by the electorate to work together. I think it does make our politics very interesting, in particular political competition, because now you know that if you don't deliver, you can be outvoted. That's the beauty of our democracy, as opposed to one-party dominance, whereby a party takes advantage of its collective memory or liberation credentials by being voted into power, not because of its track record, but because of its liberation history. So the romanticism of the past, the glorification of history, the preservation of a tradition, I think those are things of the past now.
No, I think we're going to leave it there. It's going to be really interesting times ahead, Prof. And I'm sure we'll be linking up with you as it unfolds and we see what this new 7th administration has to offer South Africans for the next 5 years.
Thank you very much, sir.
That was Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, political analyst, just giving us his insights on calls and proposals for the reconfiguration of government departments. Tomorrow, we'll be seeing the new faces that will be making up the 7th administration, all of the MPs from different political parties, and also hopefully the swearing in of the president. You need to keep it locked here on Salam Media. We'll be there in Cape Town to give you the latest and also to speak to some of the new MPs. You have the likes of Gayton McKenzie, who will be making their way to Cape Town to Parliament. You have, the likes of Musi Maimane, who's going to be making his way to Parliament, and a whole other new faces that were previously not there, and we'll be seeing for the first time this new government of national unity, or this coalition government made up strongly of the African National Congress, the Democratic Alliance, and the IFP. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, still sticking with the theme of elections and how they've left us in this quagmire of horse trading and coalitions and governments of national unity. This time we'll be taking a key focus on the KZN. We all know that the MK went out and won that province pretty convincingly, and there are talks that the MK, the EFF, and the NFP are set to unite to govern the KZN and have essentially kicked the IFP out to the curve. We'll be speaking to political analyst Sandile Swana, who's going to be giving us a bit more on this after the break.